Hello there, a very warm welcome to you. My name is Nick and welcome to the Friday chat that we do once a week on a Friday, funnily enough. Now you might notice immediately that again we're indoors. It's been a good, good few weeks, maybe months now since we've gone for a walk outside. Walking's good to beat stress, a bit of fresh air. But like last week, the air outside is a bit too fresh. It's raining and there's lots of wind. And if I went out there, I'd be a bit windswept and you wouldn't be able to hear a word I was saying because the wind on the camera. Because it's quite a basic camera. But it's not very clever out there. And I did want to go out and see if the red rubbish bag was there. I'd just go out quickly, but it's even bad. Just for that. So unfortunately the suspense will have to continue for another week. Now we'll see how we get on with this video because this is the second time I've attempted to do it. I had to abort it because there was too much background sound because let's just say the household was a bit too noisy as well. So too noisy outside, too noisy inside. Maybe I'll get two I get 2 videos or 10 videos and take them all together, but I'm determined to do it. Not quite sure when this video is going to go up, but it will go up on Friday or Saturday. But if you're watching this, you will soon know. So thank you for subscribing to the channel. If you haven't already done so, please consider doing so. There's a lot of videos up, a lot of gameplays and stuff, and it's all about, as we know, experiencing what the games will have been like in your first and second go. Would you have gone back and play it again? But more importantly, talking about the games as if, like friends and beating stress as well, and a bit of a departure from everyday stuff. So hope you like looking at the videos this week. Always tend to do about 6, so just to briefly cover them. You might have seen one, might have seen all of them, might have seen none of them, but here's a big summary if you want to track some of those down and join in the fun and do a few comments on those videos there. So last Saturday we looked at Jack the Nipper 2 in Coconut Capers. It's a sequel to Jack the Nipper, which was much more of a well-known game. I think a lot of people didn't know Jack the Nipper 2 was about, but I prefer Jack the Nipper 2. This time he's in the jungle rather than the streets. It's a lot more colourful, really clever with the masking on this. There's no real colour clash about. This time Jack had been deported from the country, but en route in the airplane he jumped out like all bad babies do and parachuted down using his nappy as a parachute, and now similar sort of thing, he's got to be naughty in the jungle. An interesting game. Back in the day, like a lot of these ZX Spectrum games, I would have just wandered around not really knowing what I was doing. The other game we looked at was an arcade conversion, Tiger Road, where you control this Shaolin monk or someone similar. He must rescue some kidnapped children and some scrolls from some horrible person. It's good up to a point. I found it very, very difficult, but that's just my gameplay. A lot of people had a lot of fun out of this one, so that might be worth checking out. It's a 2D horizontal hack and slash, I would say, over like numerous levels. It's a survival thing, and I did struggle on the second stage where we're trying to get round lots of ogres. We'll stay on the ZX Spectrum as I seem to be covering those. Covered a homebrew as well. You might have seen this. It's a bit of a joke game really, but it was written for the Crap Games contest in 2021. You might be familiar with the classic game 3D Death Chase by Micromedia back in the early 80s. Well, this time it's in 2D, so it's top down and it's really, really slow. Now, if you're trying to learn about programming, you can hack into this game, or if you just crack into a tree, it will hack into itself and you can just list the program. So, tongue-in-cheek, it wasn't supposed to be a blockbuster game or a huge commercial release. 2D Death Chase. Bit of a laugh. I somehow got a video out of it, so well done there. Tend to look at one Amiga game a week. I always want to see a good Batman game, and this wasn't really one. There's a Batman Returns. It's very, very dark. Plays very different to the Mega Drive game, which was dark as well. I think I slightly prefer the Mega Drive, although that wasn't perfect, but the collision detection on this Batman Returns isn't great. I do like the intro. Of course, it's based on the movie by Tim Burton, which starred Michael Keaton as Batman and Danny DeVito as the Joker and Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. I didn't get very far on this, and if I owned it back in the day, I probably wouldn't have persisted too much with it and taken it back to the shops. We looked at the Atari 2600 as well. Looks at it's very arcadey. This game is Chopper Command. You take a helicopter, bit like I suppose it's a bit like Defender, but not like Defender at the same time. You have to defend a convoy from getting the hell bombed out of them. As soon as you destroyed all the enemies in their planes, it goes to the next stage. It's set in the desert, but all that's different from stage to stage is the airplanes. The enemy airplanes move slightly faster. It's a survival game. Survive as long as you possibly can, and I do love the sounds that Atari 2600 smashes out. And probably the most advanced game of the week we've looked at as well, Nintendo 64, a first-person shooter in the style of Doom. It's Quake 64. Come out originally a couple of years earlier on the PC, but here it is there. Had a bit of trouble with my controller patching all the buttons, but I still had a bit of fun out of it. If you watch that, hopefully it gives you a bit of an idea whether you want to track that one down or not. It's probably my favourite game we looked at in the week, Quake 64, for that particular reason, although I did like looking at all the others in all their glory. So hope to like to have a look at those. Members will get a video that they can access in the members section every Sunday, letting you know what the videos are the next week. So if you want to do that, it helped me out a great deal. There are free tiers. If you want to click on the join, it doesn't commit you straight away, but there's a slight video letting you know what it's all about. I appreciate everyone on any tier, because that's really helping me trying to take this to full time. But people on the second tier and above, if you want me to, there's a few people that's going to take advantage of it in this video. I can give a shout out for anything you're doing, any games you're working on, websites, or anything outside the internet as well. So do bear it in mind, and to say it helps me try and continue this thing onwards, and everything does get poured back into the channel rather than me surfing in the Caribbean or Southend-on-Sea or somewhere like that. So thank you very much. But we'll come to the members a bit later on, all the shout outs. Now, I often have a look at what news is going on, not necessarily all gaming news. If it's if I found something quite funny, I might bring it to your attention as well. At the time of recording, we're sort of like coming out of lockdown, but there's the Indian corona strains developing on, so we don't know what's going to happen there. But sports all seem to be back up and running now. Crowds are gradually returning to football and other venues as well. Not quite sure what's going to happen with the Olympics this year, which should have been last year. We'll see what happens. That's supposed to be based in Tokyo, in Japan. But it's how can countries all come to do that when they've all got different rules and mixing together? If you've got all different countries coming to one central place and going away again, surely it's going to spread the virus. Despite there's vaccines, there's different strains. But anyway, talking about football, as I mentioned there, now this is amazing. Now football, gradually more and more money's gone into it. For teams to survive, it's based on investors buying expensive players coming in. Certainly happens with the Premiership in the UK, and or in England I should say. It's helped with other places as well. China, football's taking a great hold where money talks. But get this story. Now, a Chinese millionaire has currently recently bought the second tier football side. I think they're called Zaibo Kuji FC, so Zaibo Kuju FC. So you think, oh great, they're going to get investment and go up the leagues there. A good thing to do. But get this, the boss wasn't very happy with how the team was playing. So now he now plays on the pitch, taking the number 10 jersey, which is often reserved for the best player. Apparently on his last few games he barely touched the ball. Now get the rub of this, I'll try and put up some pictures as well because it is quite amusing. He's now forced the boss to play his son, who's not really good at that football. He's a best part of 20 stone, his son, and he's running around the pitch as well. So now they've got two players who can't play football or are a little bit overweight. You couldn't make this up, could you? I mean, if you was, you'd have to be a billionaire now, I suppose, but if you was a millionaire, multi-millionaire, would you buy your local side? And if so, would you then say, right, I'm playing now, and chuck yourself on the pitch to run around like a hoodlum, like you probably did at PE at school, barely touch the ball, and there we go. That's, you know, I mean, this story is caught like wildfire around football circles, but these two guys do not look particularly fit, but who am I to judge? Good luck to Zaibo Kuju FC and all that you do. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comment section below. So that was quite funny. This one isn't too funny, but it's not like an asteroid's going to hit the world or anything in the next couple of seconds. which I hope not anyway, because that'll be my second attempt at the video gone wrong as well. But global warming, it's always a thing. Some people deny it. Some people think global warming isn't happening and it's just a natural cycle, but it is, isn't it? Now, recently, most alarmingly, as we know, the ice caps are gradually melting. This is big. Now, I don't know if you caught this story. An iceberg measuring 109 miles, yes, 109 miles, has broken off from Antarctica and is slowly drifting out to sea. Now, 109 miles is bigger than the island of Mallorca, so we've got this mini island drifting off into the shipping lanes, no doubt. Because it's all fresh water, these icebergs, it changes the salinity of the oceans, which isn't good for fish, so essentially it's pollution again. 109 miles. Now, I don't know how far this thing's going to float, because it must be gradually melting as it goes into slightly warmer waters, then down to nothing. But these sort of things are what make the seas rise with icebergs melting. I don't know how you go around a 109 mile iceberg. It's yeah, bizarre. So that's not great, is it? Is this going to get worse, or is it going to freeze up again? Global warming isn't happening. Well, it seems to be, to me, and here comes an 109 mile iceberg to prove it. I don't think there's any wildlife on this one. No Antarctica, I get mixed up where the penguins live, but no penguins or polar bears on this, or anyone else that I'm aware of. Now, credit where it's due. Last week, well, coming up is the Monaco Grand Prix, but last week I mentioned I was very worried about this driver called Nikita Mazepin that drives for the Haas team. I think he's in a number of accidents and Monaco was going to be a disaster for him. Now, in the first and second practice, in the first practice at least he did 33 laps, he's been without incident. He hasn't crashed into anyone, so maybe he's learnt his lesson. His speed doesn't seem too bad compared to his teammate Mick Schumacher, who's the son of Michael Schumacher, of course. So hopefully something's going to be okay, but you never know what's going to happen when the blue flags are being waved to let faster cars past him, who the race leaders who are lapping him, so we'll see what happens there. But he hasn't crashed, so he seems to have the racecraft to get around the course and the most dangerous circuit in the world. So it surprised me, so well done him. As long as he doesn't get involved in a 109 mile iceberg, or a Chinese millionaire doesn't put his son in the car to help him, then I think we should be okay. There we go, so that's just a few things I've caught this week. So now we will come to the members section. As I say, hopefully soon we'll get eventually to go on the relaxing walk again, because that's a bit more interesting than staying inside. Now, as I said before, there's 3 tiers on the memberships. If you want to do that, please consider doing so, because that helps me a great deal. So we can make better videos. If I ever go full time, I can spend more time on the existing ones for special effects and all that sort of stuff, and gradually save up to improve all the equipment, the lighting, a better camera and all that sort of stuff. So I know you've been massively helpful, so thank you. So I will thank, as I say before, I appreciate all the tiers, because it all adds up. But here's a shout out for anyone on the 2nd tier and 3rd tier. Remember, you lot, if you want to shout out at all, obviously message me in the members section via YouTube, or if you're a friend with me on Twitter, Jenkins7Nick, that's that Lucas aid I had to try and get my energy up. Jenkins7Nick, send me a direct message on there if you're following me. So massive thank you. I don't underestimate it this time round too. Una Bjornsson, thank you. Hope you're having a good week and a great weekend to you. Jason Smith as well. Squidworth, hope you're doing okay. Squid, haven't spoken to you for a few weeks. Hope things are going okay. If you want to message me on Twitter, feel free to do so. That's no problem whatsoever. Big thanks to Stu Hu and Nikki S. Thank you a lot there. Claire Johnson and James O'Grady, thank you. John Roby and Jeffrey Searby, thank you fellas. Thank you everyone, really. We're a good community here. It really comes together in the live streams. Hopefully I'm going to do another one on Tuesday. Recently there's been a Windows 10 update which knocked out a lot of my controllers, which is affecting the potential Amiga and Mega Drive stream, but I'm working on it. I'll try and fix it. Okay, so back to this. Big thanks as well to Steve Norman, who of course runs the blog retroarcadia.blog, which is a gaming retro gaming blog. have a check on that. I really recommend it. This time he looked at Dantorific 3 on the ZX Spectrum, a game I'm rather unfamiliar with, and the two that come before it, so I need to catch up with there. Seems like a sort of like a horror sort of a game. It looks quite good from the screenshots that I saw on Steve's blog, so maybe I need to look at that as well. And I think prior to this one, he also looked on the Xbox at the fantastic Resident Evil game, which suddenly eventually got turned into a film with that is it Brockovich woman, Erin Brockovich, is that her name? I don't know. So they're worth looking at. So he's done like a retro game, and I suppose it is retro now really, but a fairly modern game, let's say Resident Evil. I say fairly modern, it's probably 20 years old, isn't it, or something. There you know, as you get older, time seems to go quicker or slower, or one of the two. There we go. So thank you. Do check out Steve Norman's blog, really well written, retroarcadia.blog. Thank you as well on the second tier to Lemmy Barnett. Thank you, Lemmy, much appreciated there. Steve Q, thank you for all your help, appreciated. Phil Hill, thank you. And Rossi Bossy, who's still working on Super 3D Pixel Grand Prix. Sorry, I always say that wrong. I have a bit of a blind spot with it. But yeah, check out his site as well and all the games he's currently working on. More news on that game as it comes forward. Thank you as well to... actually, I would say, I say it all the time, if you want to follow Rossi on Twitter, do so. I retweet a lot of his stuff, which is progress of the game as well. Always a little bit of struggles. You've got to survive, you've got to have life as well, but the game just gets better and better each update Rossi does. So really a big one to look forward to that game. Okay, big thank you also to Chono Baggy, Jason Holmes, Andrew Gibson and Grey Holt too. So thank you all you lot as well. An extra super thanks to everyone on the top tier, of which there are 6 of you. Really blown away by your support, so thank you very much there. We got Martin Rymel, thank you. Richard Mitten, I know you've shown up in a few of the streams now we do them later, so that's excellent to see. Big thanks to Tom, Graham Vebke, my friend in Australia of course, and Colin Hode, thank you fellas. And also as well to Jules M, who does a lot of the big caps when she can of the stream, also various games that we look at. It's always appreciative when you find time to do those. Don't expect you to, so don't feel that you have to do it every time if you haven't got time to do it, but I do appreciate you doing it, so thank you Jules. And also as well, got a slightly different website for Jules this time. It's myoldtoybox.weebly.com/board games. But if you go to myoldtoybox.weebly.com, there's sort of like a menu system up there as well. If you click on board games, it will take you there. Now I'm going on to my iPad here because Jules mentioned a few things about that. Alright, so let's try and decode this. Yeah, she's gradually updating the board game page. I did have a look at it earlier on. It's got classics on there such as a Buckaroo, just to name one of them. There's going to be some mini blogs on there as well. So when you click on the pictures, I'll have a delve around there. It'll tell you a bit more information about them. This week she's been specialising in Spear's Compendium of Games. Starting from the well-known Snakes of Ladders, Scrabble for Juniors, Curse of the Cobras, which is like for Indiana Jones fans, where you can get to wear a plastic cobra, which you snap on your wrist as a part of the game, so that's very interactive. And a few other games on there as well you might have heard of, called Home You Go and Flying Hat. So it delves into the classic retro board games there before computers took a hold, I would think. So, you know, it's all about the history of gaming. So check that one out. myoldtoybox.weebly.com/board games, or if you just do myoldtoybox.weebly.com, then click on the board games link. That's the thing that Jules has most recently updated, so have a look at that to see what has changed. And on that site as well, there's lots of links to Jules' other bits she's been previously doing in other sites as well. But you can spend quite a lot of time on there, which you know, I think I did when I was I was researching to do this. There we go. So thank you everyone for as I say, watching the channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already. There's memberships there as well if you want to be added to that list, and if you want a shout out there, if you're on the second tier and above, just send me a message. So have a great weekend. I'm at work this weekend, as I am every weekend, but there will be a couple of ZX Spectrum games on the channel on Saturday. Tend to go up at 10 and 3. Members will know what they are, and on Sunday there'll be a couple as well. So thank you. Hopefully next week we get out walking again, because that's what I like to do. If you're a Chinese millionaire and want me to play in your football team, all you got to do is message me and pay for my airfare, and I'll run on and I'll barely touch the ball, just like you do, and we'll get relegated. Hooray! I don't know, it's a crazy world, isn't it? Okay, till next time, take great care of yourself, and a very, very fond goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye, E.
And Jenkin.